What's up, gay boys? I am back once again to literally just explain something that I saw on Twitter. What's popular today? What's popular this week? You might be asking. I'm not exactly sure why this cropped up once again, but Lilly Singh has been back in the news. I've seen a lot of people talking about it. I've seen a lot of people talking about it on Twitter, a lot of content creators making videos about her, specifically in reference to a TED Talk that she did where she talks about the failure of her late night show that I'm sure most of you are aware of.
Now, unfortunately, the budget wasn't based on the importance or significance or historic nature of the show.
It somehow made it to 2 seasons, but has since failed. And she goes on this long diatribe, essentially not taking any responsibility for its failure.
But my take was almost never included in topical media news coverage roundups.
I watched the entire TED Talk, which it's 20 minutes, but it definitely feels like 4 hours. It's a real slog to get through, even at 1.5 times speed. So I thought, hey, why don't I break it down for you, because I have nothing else to do tonight. Lilly Singh is a former YouTuber turned failed late night show host who is now, checks notes, hosting a Canadian game show and co-hosted the 95th Academy Awards pre-show. When she was YouTubing, her content was bland, nondescript, advertiser-friendly, devoid of any real substance or creativity. Seriously, her biggest videos are 3 girls, 1 elevator.
God, I wish my clothes fit like that. Her curves look like a dollar sign came to life, man.
And what clubbing is actually like.
You got a $10 bill, put your hands up.
I thought you didn't have $10. What?
Everything she did was safe. She never really tried to push any boundaries. She never really made any kind of like memorable moments. Her content is geared towards ambitionless Bud Light employees with 0 taste.
What does evolve and elevate mean? It means inclusivity. It means shifting the tone.
I'm talking people that enjoy the TLC network style TV show. I'm talking people that enjoy the live action Disney Plus remake movies. They listen to Drake post, if you're reading this is too late.
Say that you a lesbian, girl, me too.
It's content for NPCs that gets play in the algorithms because of diversity incentives. But like a hack comedian, eventually you will hit a wall. You'll reach this glass ceiling that your inability to generate interesting content won't be able to break through. So you'll have to do what any other bisexual woman of color is to do in a situation like this, and it's turn to Hollywood. Lilly chose the path of a late night TV show host in an era where the medium is already dead. Ooh, what a dream to have in 2023. A Little Late with Lilly Singh debuted to widespread mockery. Her cringy skits and equally as ass monologues proved that not even a team of writers could mask her lack of likability.
Look, I get it, okay? I'm not your traditional talk show host. I mean, the media has mentioned I'm a bisexual woman of color so much that I feel like I should just change my name.
Speaking of which, I think it's her ugly personality that really got put on display when she was thrust into the spotlight like that. Her incessant need to remind everyone that she's a bisexual woman of color as if that means anything.
You put every network late night host in one room together, and then add me and Hassan Minaj? We look like the IT department.
It's clearly a phrase some PR firm told her to say as some form of guerrilla marketing to the kids. The show seemed to be centered around those themes: women, color, gay. 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 Drop a like and a comment and a subscribe if you support the woman color gay movement. T-shirts in the description at some point. I want to say that one of these 3 was the punchline to like 95% of her jokes. It's like she Craigslisted her writing staff. Wish.com writers aside, I think what was really working against her as her time as a late night host was her personality. Her delivery always seemed to have this air of arrogance, like she's the smartest person in the room, like she's talking down to you.
Minorities are coming to take their jobs, you know what I mean? And honestly, we are.
She's like, Andrew Tate if she had nothing to say and wasn't funny.
I don't know how females are alive, because when I opened this can of water, it reminded me of a simple fact. Women don't drink water, ever. When they finally decide they want to hydrate, it's usually some garbage. Starbucks maca latte with cream.
Like him or not, he is funny. That's why Andrew Tate works. Like, even if you don't agree with what he's saying, it's funny, so it captures your attention. Lilly, on the other hand, is not. She tries to exude this dominant alpha presence, but she's like a small dog aggressively barking at you. You can't take it seriously because you know you could crush her skull with your boot. Its skull with your boot. And this brings us to her TED Talk, which was a special TED Talk just for the ladies. Ooh, I can't wait to hear what she has to say. I'm sure it's going to be interesting and poignant. Now, I don't know why people are actually talking about this as of late, because the TED Talk, which I found out by watching it for the first time, was posted like over a year and a half ago. Like, this is not a new thing, but I guess, I don't know, some clip must have triggered the algorithm, which got everybody talking about it. She starts off by telling a story that she was oppressed straight out of the womb because her grandparents wanted a boy.
It's because there was a complication with my birth. And that complication was being assigned female at birth. You see, because my mom had been told that if she gave birth to a daughter, it wasn't worth phoning home about. And so there were no congratulations or Indian sweets sent our way.
Oh, poor me. I had such a hard upbringing because people in another country that I've never met told my parents that I should be another gender. And are you trying to tell me that in a non-Western country where they practice traditional gender roles, a male would be of higher value?
The moment I came into this world, I was already a disappointment to so many people.
I don't necessarily agree with that doctrine, but it's like, that's not... Why would you be surprised by this? So she continues the story and says that she was an adult when she met her oppressor / grandfather who destroyed her childhood. But when they met, he actually said he was proud of her and that he was wrong about having a conversation with Lilly's mother.
You see, because my mom had been told that if she gave birth to a daughter, it wasn't worth phoning home about.
That she would have been too young to be privy to.
He then proceeded to welcome me into his home, my mom by my side, and proceeded to show me all the newspaper clippings he had saved with my name and face on them. He said the words, "he was wrong," words I had never heard a man say before to me. He said that I had done what no one else could have done, and I had made the family name proud. Me, Lilly, the baby born a girl.
By the time she would have been old enough to like fully grasp the greater context of the conversation, it would have been like 20 years. How would have Lilly's mother even remembered that this conversation happened? Let alone, why would she tell her about it? But let's just say all those things are true and the stars lined up. There's still like a 3% chance her grandfather, who she's never met or spoke to, also remembers that conversation and is regretful enough to apologize to her about it. Yeah, this story is fake news. It was created by her now out of work writing staff. And the little coup de grace at the end of this train wreck of a tale of misogyny is that this is the first time that a man has ever apologized to her.
He was wrong. Words I had never heard a man say before to me.
Now, that wasn't framed as a joke. That was framed as something that was true. Either that or the joke just didn't land. But assuming that it wasn't a joke, and assuming that she's telling the truth, because this is obviously also a lie, what's more likely, that all of men on the entire planet are so misogynistic that they don't ever apologize for anything ever, or Lilly's just kind of a bit of a cunt? And yeah, even when people are like, damn, I'm in the wrong here, they're like, well, she's kind of just a bitch anyway. She kind of deserves it, let's be honest here. Then her unemployed writing staff, Lilly, creates this narrative throughout the talk about having a seat at the table.
I finally got a seat at the table.
As in, women don't get a seat at what table? What is this table she's talking about? She never really like mentions it straight out, like, oh, this is the table. I'm going to assume, given just who she is as a person, she means like the everything table, that women don't get a seat at the table of politics. They don't get a seat at the table of running the executives in the entertainment industry. It's just like anything that pertains to her that she doesn't feel like she's in control of, that's the table that women need to have a seat at. But through all her successes, she did finally manage to get a seat at the table until She tried to speak about the gender wage gap pertaining to YouTube content creators, and people weren't happy.
I learned very quickly that whenever I spoke of money, people got a little uncomfortable. Like the time I pointed out the gender gap in the Forbes list for online creators.
A, by people, she means people on Twitter, which are not real. B, the first chance you get at the table, you play the victim card and try to farm sympathy out of people. C, the gender wage gap, like it or not, has been proven to be a straw man argument like more times than I could count. D, gender equality in content creation is literally at the bottom of anyone's concerns in the world. And E, this most likely has nothing to do with you being a woman, but has everything to do with people not liking you specifically as a human. Now, this part is the part that most people have probably seen the clip of on Twitter, her complaining about her late night show being canceled.
Now, unfortunately, the budget wasn't based on the importance or significance or historic nature of the show. It was based on the 1:30 a.m. time slot that we had.
Let me translate this for you. She's saying, I'm upset that my budget was based on my time slot and my actual monetary value as an entertainer and not woman, color, gay. Listen, maybe she's, my assumption is no, but maybe she's a comedic genius. But how are you going to complain about the gender wage gap and then unironically just minutes later not understand how money works? You get paid based on your projected value. You're not a proven success. You're a crossover digital media star that conventional media would be pretty wary of putting money and trust into. And you're also in a terrible time slot. Like, why would you have a budget? Why would you expect to have one? She goes on to say she shot 96 episodes in 3 months.
And to do the first season, I had to shoot 96 episodes of late night television in 3 months.
Which is insane. Like, I would have argued that if I was in her position. That's way too much work. I would have taken less money just to do less work, because shooting 2 to 3 episodes a day, that situation makes it completely impossible to do anything creative. She complained that the studio would give her notes like,
don't be so loud. Don't be so big. Don't be so angry. Smile more. And my all-time favorite, don't over-index on the South Asian stuff.
Which she says in a way to frame the producers as misogynistic and one of the reasons why women can't get a seat at the table. In reality, those are actually just good notes for you as an individual specifically, not you as a woman. You're used to making throwaway content for 13-year-old foreign people whose first language isn't English, so yeah, you're going big, you're not going to have any kind of subtlety to your acting. Your personality is aggressive and off-putting for most individuals, not just men. And the punchline to most of your jokes is that you're Indian, which I think could be summed up. You can sum up all those notes into stop going after clapter and start going after laughter. Ha 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 ha. Stop clapter, start laughter. Ha ha ha. Clapter. Ha ha. Up until this point, she hasn't even considered that she might be possibly vapid and uninteresting, and that the world is much bigger than Hollywood and their interests. But no. The only logical explanation why her show got canceled was because of men. She then goes into solutions on how to fix the misogynistic table. Build better tables. Which again, I'm not sure if she was doing this ironically. I'm assuming not, but men are the ones who build most tables. I mean, most women I know struggle with any kind of IKEA furniture.
What do you know about tables? Like, just tell me, like, summarize what you know about tables.
You put stuff on them.
How many legs do they usually have?
4.
Alright, table, right here?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at this. And where do the legs go on a table, usually?
Yeah, they go on the 2 sides, I know.
The 2 sides? Run back the reason you soaked the wood.
It was to make it easier to cut.
Because wet wood, you wanted to cut the wood wet because you feel like soggy wood, you're gonna... Okay, I cannot... And you used... Why would you need to cut the wood?
This was a terrible analogy. Step 1 of her master plan is don't weaponize gratitude, which I mean, she kind of just says a bunch of hollow platitudes, such as,
A woman shouldn't be grateful to sit at a table. She should be paid to sit at a table.
Oh, you mean like a job? Are you saying women should get jobs? What are you talking about? I think what she's trying to say is like, ask for raises, don't be afraid to be disagreeable, which is a point I would actually generally agree with, but her delivery method was really clunky and obtuse. Step 2, invest in potential. Again, she doesn't really describe what she meant by that. I think what she's trying to say is don't invest your time into projects that clearly won't pan out, like a late night show. But then she goes off on this tangent about like not making people have to prove themselves.
Don't hold against something called a prove it again bias, which requires less privileged people to constantly keep proving themselves, even though white men tend to get by on just their potential.
Which I think translates to give people bloated salaries until they eventually succumb to the pressure you unbeknowingly bestowed upon them, and then you have to fire them after a few months because you're hemorrhaging money. Step 3, make space for us. Okay, so I think what she meant by the table, I think the analogy is executive positions at corporations. I think that's what the table is. And by make space for us, I think she meant create unneeded executive level positions for exclusively women, which if nothing else is financially responsible. This is why we need to end the gender wage gap so we can create positions like Chief Diversity Officer, Executive Vice President of Feelings, Assistant to the Coordinator of Nap Time. Step 4, upgrade stories. 50% of the population are women, but only 25% of people being talked about on the news are women. Honestly, I think she might be stroking out at this point. Like, what is this dunderhead talking about? I'm not even going to try and decipher this one. This is like peak brain rot. To recap the entire TED Talk, her plan to make women more successful is have them be more aggressive, give all women unlimited money, create BS jobs so they don't actually have to work, and interview more women on news television shows. Basically, she wants women to be more like her, aggressive and complaining about money despite not understanding the fundamentals of an economy. Good plan. She really cracked the code on how to speedrun any percent being a respected woman.